Welcome back, gentlemen, to the Reaver Approach channel. Today, we're going to be discussing micro chest rigs and their use cases, if any, or are they mainly just Instagram hype beast gear? Well, we'll see. These are going to be a few of the scenarios that I see being appropriate for a micro chest rig, or where a micro chest rig might excel more than a typical piece of a body armor, plate carrier, anything like that. So we're going to discuss it. Let's jump into it. So, scenario number one, where I think a micro chest rig would be advantageous. Some sort of active shooter situation. Now, in those types of situations, you probably won't be close enough to your rig to make it useful. However, in a situation where you could be that close, or you've got it with you, it's in a bag, maybe you keep it in your desk, or it's in your car and you're responding from your car, or you can get to your car, here are the use cases where it can be useful. All right, so active shooter, you go ahead and throw it on. Even if you don't have your rifle in your car, you can have it equipped with rifle mags, so it's always there. It's kind of set up for whatever scenario. But mine, like others, are equipped with pistol mags. So at the very least, you have a little bit of extra ammo. And in any sort of active shooter situation, medical is probably going to be something you need. So maybe throw in more tourniquets, chest seals, gauze, quick clot, things like that that would be useful in an active shooter scenario. Maybe you're not being the solution as far as the lethal response. However, medical can be the thing that makes the difference. Oftentimes, you save more lives by carrying medical than you ever would carrying a gun. Not everything, like I said, requires a lethal response. So in this type of situation, maybe you get away with someone, maybe your friends or family, and in your car, you've got a micro chest rig stowed with some gauze, gear, as well as a lot of medical. Then you get your family out of there, you can go ahead and apply a tourniquet, stuff in some gauze, and you can get to medical safety. So if you can stop that bleeding, you could very well save the life of yourself, friend, family member, or someone that you just helped get out of there. Next, some sort of car accident. You've got your chest rig stowed in your car. It's just maybe slung over the back of your seat. You stumble upon a car accident, you're in a car accident, or you see it happen. Whatever it might be, in that type of situation, get out, yank out your rifle mags. You're not going to need them. And you've got your chest rig loaded with medical because you're a fucking professional. And then you go and render aid. Not everything is going to be shooty. I know it's not as glamorous as the shooting that a lot of people try to do, but you're more likely to stumble upon any form of car accident or injury than you will ever need your gun for. So why not have your chest rig set up for something that's useful for more than just a shooting response that you will likely never run into? Now, it can be equipped for it just in case. We want to be prepared. That's why we do. That's why we carry. However, having a lot of medical is going to save more lives than having a lot of guns. On that note, make sure that you're proficient with medical. Go to a combat lifesaver class. At the very least, get CPR and first aid certified. You can do a lot with that little bit of training. Knowing how to pack a wound as well as apply a tourniquet can be the difference between life and death in those type of scenarios. So get educated, get trained. It's not all about guns. Be a professional, especially maybe if you're in a little bit more of a rural, especially if you're in more of a secluded environment where maybe EMTs are a little bit further off. Something to also keep in mind with those types of things, if that's what you're planning on, a few extra things loaded into your chest rig can really make the difference when you're responding to that type of situation. Something that comes to mind is just a headlamp. If you are responding to a car accident and you are applying aid and it's dark, putting on a headlamp is going to make you work faster and way more efficient than you would if you're in the dark, you're using a phone, someone else is trying to do it. It's kind of like when you were a kid and you're trying to hold your flashlight for your dad as he's working on the engine. And then he just like, hold the light steady. And then it's somebody else and they're shaking and freaking out while you're trying to save this person's life. And you can't see shit because their hands are shaking so much. Little headlamp, put it in a pouch. In these types of situations where it's a little bit more general purpose, don't be so worried about loading in with mags and bullets and grenades and flashbangs and shit like that. Maybe throw in a couple road flares. Now, my micro chest rig is truly that. However, it doesn't have to be a micro chest rig. It should be a regular chest rig for whatever situation you feel like is appropriate for you. If it's going to stay in your car, maybe it can be a little bit bigger. If you plan on throwing it around, maybe put in a backpack. So you have a few extra goodies, then a smaller, more micro one is the right one for you. However, it's your gunfight. You choose what you want. Flares, flashlights, maybe some glow sticks are going to be one of those things that makes a situation that you're responding to a little bit easier and you can be more efficient there. So you can be the solution.
So I was looking back on the footage and
It really looks like this is a bad green screen behind me. It's real. It's real. Another common conversation, which I feel like is very appropriate for this, is just some sort of home defense situation. If you've got a lot of land, then perhaps a chest rig would be good. So you hear some stuff going on, maybe some people are on your property, maybe you've had some troubles in the past. If you keep something like this around your bedside, I really like it because it's just a sling. I can throw it over my head. I don't have to buckle it up. You can just go ahead and throw it over your shoulder. Even if you don't grab your rifle, that's not the situation. You've got a few extra pistol mags. You can go ahead and put a flashlight on there, a couple extra things. So if you're investigating a bump in the night, you are ready to go. Now, most of the time, you can just go ahead and grab your pistol. You've got your flashlight on there. That's okay, but you don't always want to be walking around your house with your pistol flashlight on if maybe it's just something you're investigating. So you don't want to be looking for a flashlight or anything like that. But if you know you've got it in a chest rig pocket, it's right here. You yank it out. You can walk around the house. You've got your pistol kind of hidden and concealed. Maybe just grandma in the kitchen and she's just up for a little late night drink. You're not having your pistol out with your light on, like, oh, uh-oh, grandma. And you just got a flashlight. Oh, you scared me. And you've got your gun, you're kind of hidden. It's like, oh, okay, well, you know, I'll see you in the morning. You don't want to be that guy using your pistol light for everything. So a chest rig makes it a lot easier to carry some of those things that would be useful in a bump in the night situation. It's not always going to be a home intruder. So plan accordingly. So next is any sort of low profile. Are we sideways? Here, let me help you. Boop. Next is going to be any sort of low profile work. If you're kind of trying to be under the radar and you want a little extra heat on you, oftentimes body armor you can't really conceal. You can't throw a jacket over it. Something like this, you can maybe put, a jacket, a hoodie over, a zip up, and you can conceal it pretty well. Obviously, it's going to look like you've had a few too many beers, but I'm not a secret squirrel.
We'll have to re-destabilize their economy.
I'm not doing that sort of stuff, but whatever the situation you have in your head, a micro chest rig might be something that works. Now, the follow-up to that is like, if you're in that type of situation, it's like, maybe you might be wanting body armor. Maybe you've got like a slick, low-profile one, so some just very thin, it's more covert than overt, then you can have that on. And if you want to add on a little extra heat, then you can. And you've got options because oftentimes people set up their plate carriers and it's very overt. It doesn't have a lot of flexibility. But if you get something that's completely low profile and you have a chest rig, now you've got a bunch of different loadout options for what you feel like is the appropriate response for the situation that you are planning for in Minecraft. Covert, overt, covert, slightly overt. Ooh, I'm wearing all black, I'm Antifa. Ooh. Anyway, so the last two I'm just going to lump into one, and that's kind of vehicle work or any sort of like hunting trips. Sometimes it's just nice if you're maybe going coyote hunting, hog hunting, you throw on a micro chest rig, you've got a few extra mags, you've got medical. I feel like whenever you go shooting, you should have medical on you. I'm a big believer in that. Whatever it might be, you throw it on, you've got what you need, you've got some flashlights, you got some maybe goodies, and maybe you've got a granola bar stuffed in there somewhere because we all know snacks are important. The most important thing about your chest rig is quick access to snacks. I always keep mine loaded up with Gushers, or if I'm doing a shoot, cheese sticks, because those are important. Yeah, I don't peel my cheese sticks. I'm a big fan of putting snacks in my chest rig. It's mainly filled with Gushers most of the time. However, I digress. You throw on for those hunting trips or the vehicle work, it's a lot more low profile than like a full-on battle belt. If you go in and out of a vehicle and you've got a full battle belt on, you know that it's not very comfortable, especially if you're getting out of like an FJ Cruiser and it's got a very narrow back seat, and so you're just kind of pulling yourself out of there. But that's just my personal experience. So if you're the type of person that says, oh, I'm going to have my plate carrier, I'm going to have my rifle and everything, look at your current setup and ask yourself, is that actually what you've got? If it is, cool, kudos, I like that. If not, then be realistic with yourself. That way, you're not living in some fairyland because, oh, I'll have my plate carrier when an accident happens or when an emergency happens. You might not. So be realistic. And then if it's something you want, but you can't afford, you can't warrant it, you don't have the space, whatever it is, consider the micro chest rig. They're not perfect for every occasion, but they do have their purposes, and oftentimes they can be a lot more affordable than a plate carrier. Anyway, so as far as my rig is concerned, like this is a really micro chest rig. For some of these applications, it's probably a little bit too small, but as far as what this is an IC13 invert. I have 2 rifle mags, medical, this is just a basic IFAK, and then 2 pistol mags, which are located up on my shoulder, and then here kind of by my lower ribs. I think it's a pretty sweet setup. Like I said, I love to be able to throw it on over my shoulder. I don't have to fumble with any straps.
Bruh.
This, you just throw it on. It's all fairly stiff and rigid, so you throw it on, it's good. It's comfortable. It sits really, really tight to the body, so if you wanted to conceal it, you can. Pretty concealable, especially if you wear something kind of billowy like this. However, if the wind blows, it's all, you know, Marilyn Monroe. Whoa, tactical nerd. That's my setup. I hope you like it. You guys like my poncho? Anyway, I appreciate you getting to this far in the video. If you have different ideas on how you build out your chest rig, I would love to hear them. If I missed something, you've got a cool idea on how you set up your chest rig, or you found a chest rig that is just slick for what you need, drop it down in the comments, because I love seeing new brands. So if you like this channel and it's F-tier content, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Ding! Was that cool? Did I edit that in? Ding! Maybe I'll put it over my face. Ding! Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, or else I'm just out here freezing my balls off for nothing. And that kind of sucks. Oh, you thought we forgot. You thought we forgot. However, I never forget, unless I forget. We're back with my favorite comment from the past week. This one was brought to you by this gentleman. Bing! And his comment is, the only person afraid of this guy is women. Sir, this is a meme channel, not a haunted house. Thanks for your comment. I appreciate you. I'm not making horror content though. I'm making F-tier reels and YouTube videos. So we're not trying to scare anyone. And 100% of my audience is male. So trust me, I ain't trying to scare no females, because they ain't here. Honestly, they're probably fucking your friend though. Maybe one day I'll have a cameraman or a camera woman. Maybe someone will fall in love with me and she's just like a videographer, and she's like, listen, I want to shoot F-tier content. I want to shoot some dude LARPing in the snow, too much gear on, maybe an ugly poncho. And I'll be like, oh, look no further, madam. That's me.